Hey, what's up, everyone? Another freaking awesome day in the markets, man. This is why we plan our trades. We were so prepared for anything that was coming to us. So let's look at how things started. So yesterday we finished the day with this boom. I think we acquired our target right up here about 2076, and then pulled back, right? So this morning we gapped up and immediately were greeted with a lower high and lower low. And now many were unprepared for this because they think this thing's just going to run. They weren't prepared they weren't watching this lower low, and we went boom right through it. And then we basically created a head and shoulders top. So basically, yesterday's move was basically sold off from the open. I mean, this was an obvious trade. I got in it right in here, and then added on the pop, and just let this thing go right into its target. I think the target was at, let's see here. I have a chart here. I put a chart in the nightly report here. Let me just bring it up for you. Let me try and get this on the screen. I'll bring it up on this thing. Give me 1 second. Jing. Bear with me, guys. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, right here. So here is this morning's move right here. So we had the move. We had tried to gap a little bit higher, and seller stepped right in basically in the first 5 minutes. Pushed this thing lower, tested, and then you're saying to yourself, "Wow, is this going to be head and shoulders top?" Boom, it was. I got in. I think. I think I got in around here, so I was a little bit of pain here. I was a little worried that this thing was going to bear trap after yesterday's move. And then it rolled over, and then I added in this push up. There was some overbought conditions, and then it rolled right back over, and then boom, cover right, penny for penny. I mean, look at this bounce. The target using this high and this low, whatever the calculation is, 2076.71, 2064.76 is 1195 move, 2052.81. I mean, this is just, this is price action for you. I mean, look at the cover, right? Penny for penny, boom, buyer step in. It's awesome. I just love this stuff. So, let's just look at the rest of the day, though. So we basically pulled over, and then, the market tried to kind of bounce a little bit, just consolidated. And then around 1 p.m., this is the 1 p.m. area, this is typically when the buy programs step in. We can see this little, it looks like it wanted to form a double bottom. And just notice the difference between this first bottom in the morning, where there's basically just either a short squeeze or just people covering their shorts, and it's a different move than this move. So this has actually looked really bullish to me, right? Because I was basically saying, oh, here's an inverse, and I didn't trade the inverse. I don't trade these tiny patterns. I let other people do the heavy lifting. Okay, I want this move. Okay, if this range breaks, this is a much bigger move than this little thing. I mean, who knows if this thing even works, right? I mean, what do you get stopped out. Your risk reward is just too small. So you don't need to trade these. You count the patterns, okay? So here's your little inverse head and shoulders. Boom. Okay, we rally up. Looks like we're trying to create this little cup handle. We actually break out of it. So I was like, sweet. I'm buying right in here. Then we got to get the pullback, normal retest. And then it made this higher high. And as soon as it made that higher high, I took my stop to break even, which is basically just below this low. And it rolled right back over. And this is why we do this, because once you make that higher high, that should be your follow through. And if it doesn't do it, the patterns has a very good chance of failing, which it did. So it basically failed. And then what happens is you get all the people that were buying in this up here that are stuck. So it rallies back, and they're like, sweet, I can get out, break even, boom, and now we have a head and shoulders the other way. This is what happens with failed breakouts. So I say this in the report, but basically, patterns don't always work. That's not the point. They don't always work, but it tells you a story when they don't work. When they don't work, it means strength is being sold, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw the breakout, seller stepped in. It was probably people that were stuck trying to basically buying here, and rode it all the way down, or like, sweet, I can get out break even. And then it basically just created a head and shoulders. So now we have one head and shoulders pattern here, and now we have a failed bullish pattern, a second bearish pattern, and that played out, and now we have a third bearish pattern. So we have a shoulder here, we have a head, and a right shoulder, and that broke down. So it's the exact opposite of Monday, where basically we triggered three bearish. Monday we triggered three bullish patterns. Today we triggered three bearish patterns. So the sellers are really trying to take control of this market. So what does that tell us on a on a shorter term, on a bigger picture? So currently we're watching this bullish wedge formation breakout, right? So usually these things should just run and catch the highs, but they're we did make a higher high and we haven't made a lower low yet. So that's, one thing to keep in mind. Okay. However, we're on the goal line, and the sellers did push this thing lower into the, after hours. Now that doesn't matter, but if we gap down below this 2039.44 level, that basically kills off this cup and handle that we were looking at. That's targeting this 2106 level. So a move below this tomorrow morning, and this pattern is defunct, gone. Okay, so keep that in mind, and they pushed it below this over after hours. Now we'll give it to the morning. Now I have no positions overnight because right now there's just no need to. I mean there's it's just not there, especially with the rollover in the morning. But keep that in mind. If this fails tomorrow, I mean sellers, anyone that's trading this pattern is going to be out, so we can push this thing lower. Okay, so we're basically killing off that pattern, and then a break below this wedge line would kill this pattern. So I mean, I said yesterday, I said a break below 2039.44 is going to be a very bearish signal for us. That's our first sign, because basically now we have, going back to the earlier, this thing here, I mean, we're basically we've killed off one bullish pattern, okay? And we're on the goal line of killing off a second bullish pattern and potentially a third bullish pattern, and that is not bullish, okay? Because now we have no price action other than the daily chart price action. If I let me clean this up. So remember, we're watching this double bottom kind of cup handle right here, similar to what we saw today. And that was almost taken out on Monday, but defended by the bulls into the Fed. But now, if we're to roll back over here, which is definitely possible, I mean, based on what we're seeing, not bullish, open-minded, right? So this could change tomorrow morning, but just keep this in mind. But I mean, if we were to take out this low, I mean, this market is going to go lower, 100%. Okay, because now you're basically killing off. If you take out this low right here, you are killing off every bullish pattern. So where does that really leave us? I mean, for me, like I'm watching, I want to see, if this pattern breaks, it's step by step, and then you make your decisions based on the patterns that come in front of us, right? But, will this pattern break right here? Okay. If that's okay, let's say it does. Check. Okay, now we're back in the wedge. Check. And then back in the wedge is also going to be very close to back in, then we fill this gap, check. Okay, and then we get a bounce back into the wedge and we roll back over, check, and now we're back below 2020. I mean, this market is going to be going lower, and from a bullish perspective, I'm not saying to come in here and just sell short here. There's still, the bears still have work to do. Maybe we're looking at this as, kind of an inverse head and shoulders. Maybe this pullback gets faked out tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a wild day because of the quadruple witching. The futures, the options, everything's expiring tomorrow. So, we're rolling. So maybe this is kind of an inverse head and shoulders. It's possible. Always keep an open mind, but watch what this market's telling you. Okay, and today it told you that strength is being sold. And that's what you need to know. So, big picture wise, I mean, not a lot to say. Not much has changed. I mean, I think, we really need to, I guess we could say one thing, right? Right now, intraday, on the intraday time frame, we made a higher high, by taking out, we got above this little swing high that we were talking about. But on a longer daily time frame, we're still making lower highs, and potentially lower lows. And I'm telling you right now, if this thing makes a lower low, I think this market's going to be in serious trouble, because like I said, earlier, if we kill this pattern, there's no bullish patterns left. And then we're looking, the only thing that's even on the radar, the only thing that would be on the radar if we were to kill that pattern, would be, the head and shoulders top, the big one, this one, okay? This guy right here, okay? Let's look at this let's pull this back, clean this out, all right? I'm going to bring it up on the weekly, okay? This is the stuff we have to pay attention to on a daily basis. And, I'm running a little long here tonight, but, the bottom line is, pay attention to the price action. Yesterday we were bullish, but we have to be able to change our opinions, right away based on what's going on. And what's going on right now is strength was sold like hell today. Okay, so we got to, if this 2020, if this level is taken out, this head and shoulders is majorly in play and down to 1600, majorly. So, keep that in mind. 2020 is a critical level. Any close, we have not closed below that. But a close below that would put this thing in some serious trouble. And that's where we're at. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry for babbling too a little bit long tonight. Take care.